Welcome to another Style Study video. I am Matt, and in this session we are taking a look at Style 3C Czech Amber Lager. But before we do, I need to give my usual disclaimer. I do not represent the BJCP in any way, shape, or form. The BJCP does not authorize nor endorse this set of videos. This series of videos is the documentation of my journey towards becoming a BJCP beer judge and me learning the styles it will take to accomplish that. All right, here we go. Czech Amber Lager. Overall impression: malt-driven amber Czech lager with a hop character that can vary from low to quite significant. The malt flavors can vary quite a bit, leading to different interpretations ranging from drier, bready, to slightly biscuity, to sweeter and somewhat caramely. All right, checking out the vital, or the statistics. Yes, the vital statistic. It's both those words. Before we get into the characteristics we're going to judge on, we have an SRM range of 10 to 16. The IBUs go 20 to 35. The original gravity ranges from 1.044 to 1.060. Final gravity 1.013 to 1.017. And that gives us an ABV range of 4.4 to 5.8%. All right, now on to the characteristics we're going to write about on the score sheet. Aroma: moderate intensity, rich malt aroma that can be either bready or Maillard product dominant, or slightly caramely and candy-like. Spicy floral or herbal hop character, maybe moderate to none. Clean lager character, though low fruity esters, stone fruit and berries, may be present. Diacetyl is optional and can range from low to none. Moving on to appearance: deep amber to copper color, clear to bright clarity, large off-white persistent head. Going into flavor: complex malt flavor is dominant, medium to medium high, though its nature may vary from dry to Maillard product dominant to caramely and almost sweet. Some examples have a candy-like to graham cracker malt character, low to moderate spicy hop flavor. Prominent but clean hop bitterness provides a balanced finish. Subtle plum or berry esters optional, low diacetyl optional, no roast malt flavors. Finish may vary from dry and hoppy to relatively sweet. And mouthfeel: medium full to medium body, soft and round, often with a gentle creaminess, moderate to low carbonation. And that will do it for what we're looking at. There are, of course, comments and histories and characteristic ingredients, which you can look up at bjcp.org. And again, and you'll see them on the screen now, I cannot pronounce these examples. And with that, you can probably guess I do not have one of these examples. So we're going to do what we did with category 3A. And we're going to take a beer that, when I typed in Czech Amber Lager on a website of a very prominent liquor store / bottle shop, this came up, and it's local. So I'm happy to do a local, but its name already is putting my mind in a different frame to judge this. I'm going to try to ignore the style name. It is Big Storm Brewing Company's Wavemaker Amber Ale. So now I already know that the word ale is used as a descriptor for this. I'm still going to try to judge it based on what the style guidelines describe it as. So I do want to say, as I did before, this could possibly score low. This score is no reflection of the quality of this beer or what I think of this beer on its own. I'm comparing it to a style that is not necessarily what is intended to fit in. So the brewer's intention may have been a completely different style than what I'm judging it against. It may score high, it may score low. I haven't scored it yet, but I just want to make sure that this is an exercise and not a critique of this beer. So with that out of the way, let's get started. I do have my highlight list as usual, and I'm going to run through what I almost dinged the cap again. I'm trying not to top. It's not a cap. You know what? I did it to explain what I was not going to do. I'm going to go through the initial tasting, compare them to my highlight list, let you know what I find, and of course pause the video, score it, and come back to the score sheet. So give it a decent pour, trying to keep the head relatively in control. That's actually more than one to pour, but it's It's such a big can, it was kind of hard to not just keep pouring. So let's check out aroma first. We're looking for rich malt aroma, bready or slightly caramel and candy-like. It's actually, I get the malt right away. And I do get as I move it away, there is like this kind of hard candy, sweet, almost pure sugar candy aroma to it. So there's probably some hops in there. I'm going to take a deeper look into this. I'm going to do the score sheet. Moderate to no hops, clean lager character. I'm not getting that recognizable crisp, I call it beery flavor, because when I was growing up, everyone around me or my family drank the common beers: Budweiser, Bud Light, Coors, Rolling Rock. So their beer has always had a specific smell to me, and since those are mostly lagers in style, I always pick up that lager scent as beery. I've never used that descriptor because it might not mean the same thing to everybody, but that's what I think of when I smell a lager, the yeast character of a lager. And this does not have that, so it's going to be a problem when it comes to scoring for but again, it's an exercise, it's not a reflection of the beer. Appearance, deep amber to copper. We're definitely in the copper range. Clear to bright, not so much as you may be seeing in this. And large off-white persistent head. I'm going to give it a better pour to judge that. Flavor, medium to medium high malt flavor, clean hop bitterness and no roast. Okay. I will say that doesn't necessarily, those characters in there, but there's some other stuff in here too. And again, this is going to be an interesting grading process. Mouthfeel, medium to medium full body. Sure, creamy. Yeah, maybe. I'll explore that more. Moderate to low carbonation, absolutely. All right, I am going to pause the video, fill out my score sheet, set my timer. I'm actually going to do those backwards because I need a timer to do my score sheet. Details you don't need to know. I will be right back is what it comes down to. All right, we are back. And before I go through the score sheet, I want to reiterate again, this is not a review of the beer. This is reviewing the beer against the style it is now clearly not intended to be. So please keep that in mind as I read what I'm about to read. So we get to the usual information at the top. Category 3, subcategory C, entry number, the name of the beer. I'm not going to say it again because I don't want to misconstrue this being a review. Subcategory, Czech Amber Lager. Bottle inspection, check. Comments, can. Good hiss on open. Aroma. Strong Maillard malt aroma, slightly burnt sugar and toffee-like aromas, a noticeable sour vinegar presence, no hop aroma found at all. 6 out of 12. Appearance, deep copper with bright copper highlights, cloudy and opaque, medium rocky head on pour that fell immediately to a tight collar and a slight dusting of bubbles over the center of the beer. So 1 out of 3. Flavor, sweet malt with caramel over the tongue and in the finish. Faint roastiness building as sample warmed up. Sour vinegar-like taste over the tongue and palate. Touch of dried fruit in a light raisin form on the finish. Expected lager character for style not found. That's 12 out of 20. Mouthfeel, light to medium bodied, lightly carbonated, going nearly flat 7 minutes into the tasting. Strong sting from sourness on the tongue and mouth. Noticeable astringency. Not very heavy, but present. That's 2 out of 5. Overall impression, and I didn't show you the writing, but the overall impression is the most I've ever written, ever. The grist selection for the style seems appropriate. There was some sourness in the aroma and flavor, could possibly be from an infection picked up during the brewing process or in the bottle. May want to review the sanitation regimen. There is also a noticeable astringency, maybe shorter mash rest length, and make sure husks are kept out of the boil. Yeast and fermentation character was out of style. Consider a different strain of yeast. Gave that a 5 out of 10, which gives it a 26 out of 50, which puts it in the good range. But it was, if this were supposed to be a Czech Amber Lager, I mean, it's clearly not. We know it's not, and it was an interesting grading experiment again. I should mention I did use my flavors list a couple times in that one, and I also did note the astringency and the sourness, and did note what I would do or would suggest to correct it. So that is it. We've got one more in this overall style category, or yeah, style 4. It's going to, or 3. It's a 3D Czech dark lager. So we have that to do, and then we're on to style 4. So let me say, of course, thank you for watching, and I'll be back with another style study session very soon.